Hello everyone, myself Vibhu. Today I'm going to discuss about some of the science related GK questions which basically appeared in previous year exams like central level as well as state level. Okay, we'll see the first question. Short-sightedness in the human eye can be corrected by using option A, concave lens, option B, convex lens, option C, cylindrical lens, option D, plain glass. So what is short-sightedness? Okay, it is one of the common human eye defect. Okay, in generally we will call it as a myopia, scientific name. Short-sightedness means where the person can see the things which are lying closer to him, but he cannot see the things which are far away from it. For example, something is written on the blackboard. I cannot see that, but which is on my textbook, I can read it. Okay, those kind of eye defects can be rectified by using concave lens. Okay, short-sightedness or myopia can be corrected by concave lens. So right answer for the first question is concave lens. How about convex lens? Another one more common eye defect is hypermetropia. In hypermetropia, where the person can see the faraway objects clearly. I mean, something is written on the blackboard, I can read it properly, but which is there on my system or which is there on my books, I cannot see it properly. These kind of eye defects can be rectified by using convex lens. And third one is cylindrical lens. These kind of lenses are used in another common eye defect is astigmatism. Okay, where the person will loses its power of accommodation of the eye, where the light cannot converges or diverges. Okay, so in this kind of situation is called as astigmatism. So it can be corrected by using cylindrical lenses. And the fourth option is plain glasses. Plain glasses are used for the decorative purpose, water bottles or any to make a jars. In all this things, we will basically use plain glasses. And here we can see the two images. One is concave lens, another one is the convex lens. What are lenses? Lenses are basically an optical medium, okay, where the light can passes. It will get diverges or converges. Concave lens is a kind of lens whose edges are thicker and middle part is thinner. You can see here, the both the edges are thicker, but the middle part is thinner here. So those kind of lenses are called concave lenses. And here you can see the convex lens where the edges, so concave lens can be right as like this. So whose edges are thinner, but the middle part is bulged out. Okay, these are the two common lenses we basically uses. So for this question, the right answer is concave lens. We'll move to the second question. White blood cells, WBC, which are responsible for maintenance of immunity of body, are produced in which part of the body? Okay, option A, tongue, option B, thyroid and parathyroid glands, option C, bone marrow and lymph glands, option D, ductless glands. So we know that the white bloods are called as the soldiers of our body. Okay, they build our immunity. They create the army system in our body. Okay, whichever the foreign particles or external things enter our bodies, it's basically fight against it. So white blood cells are very important to maintain the healthy life. So where exactly they produced? Okay, so in generally in our body, the blood is produced inside the bone, that is called as bone marrow. Okay, it is a spongy kind of thing which is there inside our bone. So here you can see the image of the bone marrow where generally our blood is manufactured or produced. And in lymph gland, our white bloods are there. Okay, that is one of the important thing we have to remember. So right answer for this question is the option C, bone marrow and lymph glands. So remember, blood is manufactured or produced in our body inside the bone. That part is spongy kind of thing called as bone marrow. Okay, how about tongue? We already know that whatever I can speak here because of that, the tongue. So tongue is one of the important part of our mouth, our body. So, and which is very important to intake of the food, which will give the taste. Everything is decided by our tongue. So it is one of the essential part of our body. Okay, option B, thyroid and parathyroid glands. Okay, this is one of the important gland in our body. Thyroid glands will produce the hormones, and they basically controls or regulates energy which is required for our body. How about parathyroid glands? There are 4 parathyroid glands are there which are located close to the thyroid gland. And these parathyroid glands basically controls or regulate the calcium amount in our blood. Okay. So next, fourth one is ductless glands, or we will also called as endocrine glands. There are 7 important ductless glands are there. So why we will call it as a ductless? Ductless means tubeless, or connectionless, means whatever they produce hormones that directly dumped into the blood without any support of the tubes. That's why we will call it as a ductless glands. Okay. So right option for this question is option C. The study of population is known as option A, demography, option B, climatology, option C, petrology, option D, hydrology. Okay, the study of population in a particular area, the density, the customs, okay, their cultures, everything is going to study under demography. So the right answer for this question is option A, demography. Okay, so and option B, climatology, it is a branch of science where we are going to study the climate of the particular area, particular region, how it is going to change with respect to the time, how it is going to vary, how the temperature is going to vary. Everything we are going to study under climatology. So it is one of the important branch of science. And option C, petrology, it is again one of the important part of the science where we are going to study about rocks. Okay, the formation of the rocks, how the rocks are formed, when they formed, how they formed, what is the lifespan of, what is the life age of the that particular rock, or the cliffs, whatever may be, that is comes under the petrology. Next one is hydrology. The hydro means water basically. So in hydrology, again, it is one of the important branch of science where we are going to study about the availability of the water, its nature, where it is formed, the origination, and how it is related with the environment, how it is related with the living beings. Everything we are going to study in hydrology. So, but right answer for this question, where the study of population is called as demography. Option A. Okay. Next, fourth question. When the sun reaches its maximum distance from the equator, it is known as option A, solstice, option B, eclipse, option C, equinox, option D, sidereal day. Okay. So the right answer for this question is option A, solstice. So in this image, we can see that there are 2 kind of solstices are there. One is in the day of June 20 or June 21st. Okay, where it is at the maximum distance from the equator, you can see here. And another one is the December 21st or December 22nd. Important dates where we will generally say solstice days. Okay, and how about eclipse? I will study in our next question, no problem. In detail, we'll study there. Okay, option C is here. Okay, equinox. So here you can see the 2 equinox are there, where the it is at the particular distance from the earth. Okay, so here I can say that March 20th is one equinox day, and September 22nd or 23rd is another equinox day in a year. Okay, so we have to remember this. In some other exams, they asked about these questions. So Solitis days and equinox days. Next one is sidereal day. It is a day and it is the time how long a Earth will take to rotate in its axis. So basically, we will say that 24 hours, right? But it is actually 23 hours, okay, 56 minutes and 4 seconds. This much duration will be taken by our Earth to rotate in its own axis. That is called as sidereal day. But right answer for this question is Solitis, option A. Okay, next fifth question is, which gas constitutes 78% of the atmosphere? Option A, carbon dioxide. Option B, argon gas. Option C, oxygen. Option D, nitrogen. Okay, in 100%, okay, our atmosphere is basically contains different kind of gases. Out of this 100%, okay, nitrogen is the gas which is in the form of 78%. So maximum part of the atmosphere is contained nitrogen gas. Okay, and another 21%, 78% is nitrogen, another 21% is by our oxygen. So one of the most important gas for our life, okay, that is oxygen, that is 21%. Another 1%, okay, another 1% by other gases like argon or rare gases, different kind of gases are filled in our atmosphere, that is 1%. Okay, so the right answer for this question is option D, nitrogen. Next, sixth question. Which one of the following may have alien life because of a very conductive environment to life? Okay, so option A, Jupiter. Option B, Mars. Option C, Europa, that is the Jupiter's moon. Option D, moon, the Earth's moon. Okay, all right, so right answer for this question is option B, Mars. Mars having the similar atmosphere or environment of our Earth. So where they believe that scientists say that, there might be chances of, like aliens. Aliens are the space, life. Okay, they are kind of living beings. We believe that it is there in the other planets. So right answer for this question is Mars. How about Jupiter? Jupiter is another planet in our solar system. Okay, so it basically contains total 79 planets. Next one is Europa, that is Jupiter's moon. Okay, Jupiter, as I said here, it has 79 total moons. Out of that, Europa is the one of the moon. Okay, if you go to the Jupiter, you can see 79 moons. Okay, next one, option D is moon. Okay, we can see on from our Earth, right? Earth is having only one moon, that is our moon. All right, but right answer for this question is option B, Mars. Okay, which has the basic environment for the alien life. Seventh question. India's permanent research station, Dakshina Gangotri, is situated in the option A, Great Himalayas, option B, Indian Ocean, option C, Antarctica, option D, Arabian Sea. But the right answer for this question is option C, Antarctica. Okay, Dakshina Gangotri is one of the India's prestigious research center where continuously the research is going on. So the right answer for this question is option C, Antarctica. Okay, it was established in the year of Jan 26, 1984. Okay, it is an important date we have to remember. Okay, so it is a research station or the center where continuously all biological, physical experiments must be done there. Okay, so all right, we'll move to the next question. Eighth one, which one of the following is the unit of activity of a radioactive sources? Option A, lux. Option B, becquerel. Option C, Tesla. Option D, candela. What is radioactive sources? Okay, the radioactive substances are the sources which basically continuously emits neutrons, atoms. Okay, the best example I can give you that the radium is one of the most radioactive source available in this nature. Okay, it will continuously emit alpha rays, beta rays, gamma rays. Okay, so it can be measured how much the substance or atoms coming out of a particular substance is measured with the help of unit called becquerel. So right answer for this question is becquerel. Okay, it is the scientist name. Okay, so right answer for the eighth question is becquerel. How about lux? Option A. Option A is basically considered as a unit of luminous area. If any source of light source, I mean, okay, any source of light, how much light it will produce and how much light it will fall on the particular area, that can be measured with the help of lux. Okay, so if any source, let me say that we have one candle that will produce some light, right? It will fall in particular area. How much light will fall on the particular area? That is measured with the help of unit lux. Next, option C is Tesla. Tesla is another important unit of magnetic flux density. It is measured with Tesla. Okay, also we'll represent with capital T. Okay, next option D, candela. Candela is the one of the important SI unit basically used to represent. Okay, so if I say that any source of light is there, how much light is coming out of that? I have a candle light here, I have a kerosene lamp here. So which one is giving more light? That we have to measure with one particular unit. That unit is called candela. So candela is the SI unit of luminous intensity. Okay, but the right answer for this question is becquerel. All right, we'll move to the next question. Ninth one, the solar eclipse occurs when? Option A is the sun comes between the moon and the earth. Option B, the earth comes between the sun and the moon. And option C, the moon comes between the sun and the earth. Option D, none of this. Okay, solar eclipse means where the moon will come between the sun and the earth. Okay, so the right answer for this question is option C, moon comes between the sun and the earth. So shortcut to remember this, SME. Okay, solar eclipse. Here is the image is there, sun, moon and the earth. Okay, so next one is, in generally we use lunar eclipse. So lunar eclipse is a kind of eclipse where the earth will come between the sun and the moon, where the sunlight will not fall on the moon. Okay, it is represented with SEM. We can remember the shortcuts. Okay, lunar eclipse and solar eclipse. But for this question, the right answer is option C, the moon comes between the sun and the earth. Okay, all right, we'll move to the next question. Which one of the following statement is correct in respect of geostationary satellites? What are geostationary satellites? Okay, satellites are the celestial bodies which basically will be there in the space. There are two types of satellites are there. One is man-made satellite Another one is the natural satellite. Our Earth is having only one satellite, that is our moon. Okay, next one is geostationary satellite. Geo means Earth, stationary means which is at rest, where the Earth is continuously rotating and revolving. When these satellites will revolve, with the speed of Earth only. If the Earth is moving, so in the same speed, even this satellite will move. It will basically take 24 hours to complete one rotation. Okay, so that is the rotation taken by the Earth itself to complete one rotation, right? So that kind of satellites are called geostationary satellites. So the time period is 24 hours, we have to remember. It looks fixed. If you look at that particular satellite, it will be fixed because we are also rotating, even that also rotating with the same speed of the Earth. All right. And in generally, it will be placed around, the 36 kilometer from the Earth surface. Okay. So option A is it moves in a plane containing the Greenwich meridian. Option B, it moves in a plane perpendicular to celestial equatorial plane. Option C, its height above the Earth's surface is about the same as the radius of the Earth. What is the radius of the Earth? It is around 6,400 kilometers. Remember this, it is the radius of the Earth I'm talking about. And option D, its height above the Earth's surface is about the 6 times the radius of the Earth. As I told here, okay, basically geostationary satellites are kept at the height of, placed at the height of 36 kilometer. Okay, if we are saying its height is above the Earth's surface is about 6 times, means that is 6 into 6, 36. So here 36,000 kilometer height means the right answer for this question is, okay, option D. Okay, so its height above the Earth's surface is about 6 times the radius of the Earth. All right. For the 10th question, option is D. It is very important question. Okay, don't get confusion in the option C. They have mentioned, the same. Same means it will be around 6,500 kilometers above the Earth's surface. No, it is not possible, and it's very wrong answer. So remember, it is 6 times the radius of the Earth. Okay, all right. So thanks for watching. So keep waiting and subscribe for my channel. So I'll be updating a few more questions in my upcoming classes. Thank you very much and all the best for your exams.